USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me today. This is your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. How has your week been? Have you missed me? I missed you because we are the New Americans, and this is your New American Perspective. So where do we begin? What a week, what a week, what a week. Okay, let's start. You know, Trump was out on his 100-day campaign tour, running around. He was on MSNBC. He went over all his situations, and he's going, well, listen, you know, my 100 days was good. You know, Biden, not so good. Trump, wonderful, right? You know, so we're up 100% right now in the United States. So what's happening is that gas is down, energy prices are down, eggs are down. Remember, we could not get eggs. Trump said, look, we had an Easter egg hunt with thousands of eggs, and it didn't break us at the White House. So we're doing wonderful here. And so Trump is still talking about a lot of things that need to happen. And, you know, he's looking at the first 100 days and he's saying, listen, we did a good job. I think he did a good job in the first 100 days. Now, you know what I'm going to say. Okay, there is not enough executive orders in little places like the Black community, sir. There's not enough. But you also we let you off the hook, and you also didn't make a lot of promises that we need to hold your feet to the fire. We've got to put some things out. So there's some new councils coming out underneath the president. There's some new things happening. So I'm looking forward to the next 100 days that we're high on the bill. We know we got the HSBCU gesture. I'm going to call it a gesture on innovation and money and things of that nature. We know we got that, but we're not sure what's next and what's happening in the Black community and what kind of executive orders that we need. Now, fresh off the press, that we have a young man that was killed by police. And so he was killed by his police. Him and 5 of his friends were in a stolen car, and his young Hinton was his name. And he and his friends jumped out the car. The police were chasing them, and he turned around and allegedly pointed a gun at the officers. The officer screamed, he's got a gun, and they shot the young man. So unfortunately, that young man succumbed to the bullet wounds and died. And then the day after that, after his father seen the footage of what happened with the police, the camera footage on what happened with the police, the father went to some sort of site and he ran over a police officer, and he's going an eye for an eye. So this is big conversation in America right now, and I want to know how you feel. Tap in and let us know how you feel about this. Was this a moment of insanity on behalf of the father? Now, the father is in jail, denied bond, and so he will be there until he faces trial. Now, I haven't heard any word that the father has said anything, but Daryl Hinton, I believe, is his name, and he's being held on bond. But a lot of people were saying, I'm glad that, you know, this father went and avenged his son's death. And then a lot of people were saying, how dare you say such a thing? And so it becomes, you know, a moment in America where we have to take a look at what is happening to the Black community when the Black community continuously goes through these type of things. Now, I believe that, you know, if, you know, this young man had a gun, I think that you're supposed to disarm him. You're not necessarily supposed to kill him. And he obviously made a bad decision, this young man. He obviously, with his friends, made a bad decision. I don't know why he had a gun as well. but he obviously made a bad decision. Now, again, I like to see the back in the days where the cops are shooting you in the leg and disarming you, and the cops are just as scared as everybody else. But isn't that why they got bulletproof vests on? I'm not saying the cops should be shot at or pointed at or anything, but I just want to continue to value life, right? And so this father, again, he avenged his son's murder and went and ran over a police officer. So how do you feel about that? Is it an eye for an eye? And obviously it's not legal to do that. And obviously this man, he was 38 years old, just gave up his life. But again, is this a moment of insanity? I would call it a moment of insanity, where this father has just lost his son, and just going through a lot of stuff. And I think that we've got to take a look at what's happening in America and how people are really digesting getting killed by the police. So let's talk about that. Tune in, tap in, let me know how you feel about that. Today, starting today, 133 popes, are they popes? 133 papals are started their conclave to begin in the Vatican to look for the next pope. Okay, so they're all, they're praying, and they all got to come up with an answer on who the next big guy is going to be to take the spot of Pope Francis. Now, there's been, a lot of conversation about that. And, again, rest in peace to Pope Francis, but that's happening right now at the Vatican. We've got Puff Daddy. He's in court, day 3 of his trial. Okay, so this is getting a little scary for Puffy. Puffy said he told the judge the other day, I'm a little nervous. And so he kept going back and forth to the bathroom. And, he's nervous at this point, as he should be. There's so much against him. They're pulling out people's names: Michael B. Jordan, Lauren London. We're trying to figure out who's going to be, testifying for Diddy, who's going to be testifying against Diddy. We know Cassie is going to be a star witness in this case. Okay, so she's going to testify against Diddy, and she's going to be a star witness for the defense. So we wonder what she's going to bring out, and what they're going to ask her to bring out, and what she has to relive, and what her vendetta is. She got her money, but now, is it worth now Puffy, really going to jail? And Puffy could get life. He was offered a plea deal. He did not accept the plea deal. And so now we're looking to see what this trial is. So this week they're choosing the jury. There's like 150 people looking to become a part of the jury. Now, these jury people is going to be very interesting, because most people know if they're getting called up for the Puffy trial, that means that they can do book deals, they can do all this other stuff. And everybody is like, oh, no, I don't know anything about Diddy. Now, what Diddy is trying to do, Diddy is trying to get out of New York, right? So he's trying to get out of New York and go to somewhere, Arkansas, somewhere where people don't know him as well, or people haven't heard, or maybe even haven't seen that video. But it's so tainted at this point. He's going to be looking for a mistrial, and he's going to be trying to say something. So, a lot of the potential jurors are coming up and they say, no, I haven't heard of Diddy or anything like that. So we wonder if people are working in his favor to try to get on the jury, and then have something that they, been commenting online and saying, he's a no down dirty dog, and which will grant him a mistrial now or in the future. So, the more that we get involved in this Diddy trial, I feel bad, because I've been, a part of the whole Diddy motion the whole time. Now, most of us know that Diddy has gotten away with, I don't want to say murder, but I don't even want to say allegedly, but he's gotten away with a lot of stuff that we always said, damn, what is he, the Teflon Don? Teflon Don is in the White House right now. Where is P. Diddy? P. Diddy is in the slammer. And did we ever think that we see a day where white-headed Diddy with the gray beard and looking all frail and where his money can't save him right now, or can it? Now he just added on a new lawyer to his case as well, and she's saying that she was a victim of I believe domestic violence, and so they're trying to soften up the whole approach. Now they say that they'll be able to sift through this jury pool, and next week they will begin to start the trial. So by the 12th they said that they will begin to start the trial. So I'm not sure where that leads us. I'm not sure where that takes us, but we're fast away. Now, Diddy had asked for a fast trial, then he tried to slow it down. The judge said no. And so I don't know whose hands this trial is in, but I just, I don't wish anybody any jail. Spent some time. I worked on Rikers Island. Um, where he's at in Brooklyn, it's a very small jail. I don't wish jail time on anybody. I mean, if you did the crime, I say you have to do the time. Now, another one that's sending people to jail is your girl Pam Bondi. I'm gonna call her Bondi. Like, okay, Bondi is out here sending judges to jail. Okay, so there was a judge, I believe, the last 2 weeks that crazily let a defendant told the defendant leave out the back because ICE was in the front about to snatch him up. And these activist judges are doing, their due diligence. But let me talk about this for a second. Let me cook for a second. The part that really gets me, and how I feel about immigration, how I feel about, this illegal immigration. I believe that we should have a great immigration system for people to come into the United States. But here's the problem with that. The problem now is that this illegal immigration, it looks like bounty hunters, so when we talk about everything that's going on, sorry about that. When we talk about everything that's going on in this, sorry. When we talk about everything that's going on in the country, and we talk about how everything is working, and I think about the bounty hunters that chase down slaves, runaway slaves in America. I think about those things, and I think about the white people that helped in the Underground Railroad, except that we were not illegal to America. Okay. So I just, it just reminds me of that Pam Bondi and the ICE running around America and picking up illegal immigrants. And, at a point, these were, slaves, runaway slaves, and they were running off the plantation and trying to get to safety. And finally, somebody helped us and put us into the right direction. So I just think about that, right? I don't know if, if anybody else gets cringeworthy of that, but I do think about, how that's going. But what Trump did is, so he has some sympathy. I want to say that Trump does operate in sympathy, and he is offering $1,000 for migrants to self-deport. So that he'll give you $1,000 and a pathway back to America if you self-deport, if you're a legal immigrant. So how do you feel about that? So now he's giving people a way out. I doubt $1,000. I mean, when you go back to the country of your origin, that multiplies a little bit. But he's saying, listen, $1,000 self-deport. If we come get you, you will not be allowed back in this country. So tell me how you think about that. Put it in the comments, and we're going to come right back after this break, and we're going to talk more about what's going on and what's happening in the United States of America. I'll see you in a minute. And we are back. So what do you think about the United States of America and their tariffs? Okay. Well, the United States and America, and giving immigrants $1,000 to self-deport, go back to your country of origin, start the immigration process over, and come back in. Now, this is really, I can't imagine me getting kicked out of the United States, working really hard and trying to build on the American dream in the United States, and then being uprooted and say, okay, well, you go ahead and go back to your country. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to go? What are all these things? And should they have been thinking about this before? I don't know. But what I'm saying is, it's crazy because you have a lot to think about, right? You have a lot to really put in perspective, because either you, your kids, they were in Washington, D.C., they were at the restaurants. So they know where you are, right? So now you're walking on eggshells, being snatched up, all kinds of crazy, right? And then what happens after that? We don't know what happens after, we actually start going forward and things of that nature. So we've got to take a look at, $1,000 of self-deport. Let me know, and Mexican Americans to tap in and let us know how you feel about that. Let us know, what we should be feeling about the illegal immigration and people who have walked across the border. Shout out to Sir Michael Singleton. He was on CNN last week fighting down Anna Navarro, talking about, listen, Black Americans got here against our will. We were brought here against our will. And so now you're looking at how we move in and saying that, there's a whole bunch of, illegal immigrants here, and they got here this way and that way. And it's not just Hispanic Americans that are getting deported. I'm seeing that a lot of people of all kinds of races are getting deported. It's about illegal immigration. And the problem is, there's been a lot of people here for a lot of years now. The young lady at NBC, she asked Trump, she said, listen, should we be putting this should people be walking around with their papers at this point? Trump said no, but I'm gonna go back on that. I'm gonna say, I think you should be walking around with your papers, because if you don't, you might get caught up like my guy that's over that got deported to El Salvador and can't come back. He can't come back with his family. Trump said he's not letting him back, and Trump's saying that he's not letting the government is not letting people tune in. What we got going on? I was trying to save this, but this is the birthday boy, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dr. A.B. Butler over here. And we're going to call him Doctor today because he just got his doctor card, another year of life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy birthday. Happy G-check to you. What you got going on over there, birthday boy?
Hey, listen, shout out to all the Tauruses. I had to put it on.
Oh, is that what that is? It looks like a bull to me. I didn't know.
No, but I'm saying it's Taurus the bull. It's not Chicago bull. It's Taurus the bull.
He's an official branding expert here.
Yeah, but no. We got our other cousin, Tomorrow, rest in peace. His birthday is tomorrow. Chris Lighty,
Oh
legendary
wow.
violator. So you got let me do this. The red one, that's me. I'm the 7th. And then he's the 8th. So he's the blue. So I had to
Okay.
put it on today to represent us and all the
Yes.
Tauruses
Shout
out
out to
there.
Chris
Scrap Dirty.
Lighty, the great Chris Lighty, Violator. Management did so much for hip hop, like this young gentleman right here. So tell me something good. Happy birthday to you. Give us a birthday lesson.
A birthday blessing is thank God for another year, first of all. Second of
Beautiful.
all, I seen the world with 2 brain tumors. So I was blessed. 2014, I had the first one. What is this? 25. That's crazy because I got to play that number. You know what I mean? 14, 20, 25. Oh, that's, you know what I mean? Look.
I'm going to play it too.
Yeah.
G-check.
That's a G check, you know, and shout out to everybody that, got a birthday this year.
Yeah,
And you're still here because a lot of people's falling. My cousin died the other day, and rest in peace to her.
Yeah.
And rest in peace to Fat Joe moms.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's like my mom's on the phone with my cousin for like the day before she died that morning. My mom's on the phone with her for like 2 hours talking. And when it's sometimes when people talk in certain things, look at that because that might be a code of you already know. God called you and say, yo, deal with all your people that you love because I'm coming to get you tomorrow morning. And she got a phone call that morning and said she died. You know what I mean? And, bless Fat Joe, the realist. You know what I mean? His mom's passed away. He lost his brother first. Then a couple of months after that, he lost his father.
Right.
Now, in May, he lost his mother. You know what I mean? So the people out there, if you don't understand family, understand all family ain't love. You go through your ups and downs. But the key thing is, family is family. And your mother and your father, you know what I mean? You got to, God say, you got to respect them. The ones out here don't respect them. I don't know what's on your mind because look, like I say, and I keep saying it, my mom's 90 years old. As soon as she found out I got this brain tumor, she was on it and she won't leave till I get better.
That's right.
So that's what you call family.
That's right. That's right.
That's a G check for
away.
right.
That's why I love her. She's official, and she gets the official G check for the day because the birthday
Mother's
is
Day.
really her. She went through it, putting out this young man, into the world to do great things, and which you are doing. So I've been talking about a few things that have been going on.
Talk to me.
Let me get your thoughts on Trump is putting out a tariff on not a tariff, excuse me, I keep saying it's a tariff. Trump is giving illegal migrants $1,000 to self-deport and go back to their country instead of getting caught up by the ICE, instead of getting snatched up by the ICE. Trump is giving them $1,000 to self-deport and get on the list to come back into America legally. What is your thoughts here?
Let me give you the biggest G check. That's just like telling somebody to self-surrender in the prison.
Some people do it.
No. Some people do it. The ones that really do it, they ain't got no time. Let's be honest with you.
Okay.
Let's be honest, because no dude gonna self-surrender with no 40 years or no life. You ain't got to live where you got to catch me if you can.
Right.
I'm Peter Pan. Yeah. And what I'm saying is, everybody calling me, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
I'm saying is, excuse me, y'all. I'm saying is I would never volunteer for $1,000. That's just like you selling out for $1,000. See, this is where people get it mixed up. I'm gonna give you $1,000 if you go back into your country. What $1,000 gonna do? Half of the people that left their country don't have no family there. The other half got problems. So they rather say, you know what? Let me get a free ride, put me in the prison till they come and send me back to my country. Then I could build some stuff up because they're gonna work for Unicor. Unicor is like a slave factory in the prison system. You don't know. You hear that? Unicor.
But if you get caught, now look, here's the clause. If you get caught after the self-deportation offer, you're not coming, you can never come back into the United States again. You can never apply. It's over.
Let me say this. You got a lot of people got sent back to their country and they back in America. Trump not going to always be in office where, okay, we going to sit around and take that chance to ride this out for 4 years. Because let me say this, just like the government, the DEA, the feds don't do their job. Let me say that. Because most of the time, if you do your homework in the prison system, most of the dudes get caught. If you look at every time something go on, they always say, if you know something, say something, and we gonna leave it quietly. They ain't never gonna leave nothing quiet. But at the end of the day, they don't do their job. We pay so much tax money for them to sit down and get a phone and wait for somebody, one of these. I ain't gonna say the rat word because it's so many. I'm gonna say
people are
the phone callers, huh? They want that money. They want that money. So now what they doing is, you know what I mean? They might have a beef with somebody. You ever see Belly?
Yep.
I'm gonna use that as a good example. When homeboy with the big glasses,
I don't like that shit. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Oh, let me call and let them know they out here getting all that money. That's what it is out here these days. It's just, that's the new wave now. You know what I mean?
Let me tap into that because in New York right now, for what do you call it? Confidential informant is now getting paid $91,000 to be a confidential informant. $41 an hour. So people are out here taking these jobs. I mean, what do you think about that?
Cause let me say this. They've been doing that. Let me say this. Most dudes that was out here getting money back in the 80s and the agent told on them, the dudes that snitched on them, like me and whatever, they get half of what they get caught with. So just say the dude got millions in the crib and the cars and all that, they get a percentage of all of that. You know what I mean? So it's nothing new. That's why it's so many people out here acting like they stand up dudes. And let me say this. It's a lot of people walking around here, and I always say this: don't sit around and pick and say who's hot and who's doing this and who's doing that, because at the end of the day, you got a lot of people from out of town, and I'm giving you the game, the G check. You got a lot of people in town getting cases out of town that people don't even know they caught a case out there and did a Michael Jackson song, and they come home because they don't know. Because you got to remember, a lot of people don't travel to North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? And I'm saying this as you got so many people from different areas is coming from, just say, let me get a good example. You might have somebody from New York go to DC, catch a case. A lot of people from New York don't know these DC dudes, so they told on a bunch of dudes, but they don't know till they get around somebody real from New York and say, oh, yo, you know, such and such, you know, my co-defender. It's like, who's your co-defender? Oh, you know, such and such. And that's how the word get out, because a lot of people don't know people cases. Everybody assume cases, you know what I mean? So that's what it be. But that's nothing new, because they've been doing that.
Okay, so let's take a break really quick, and we'll come back right quick with the illustrious A.B. Butler on his happy birthday day, celebrating Taurus, celebrating Chris Lighty, and also the owner of this network. His birthday was on Monday, Cinco de Mayo. Noor, shout out to Noor on his birthday as well. So we're going to take a break. We'll be right back on Millennium News 24 with your G-Check and your New American Perspective. I'm Jania Butler. That's A.B. Butler. And we'll be right back.
There you go.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages scenes. America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And just tell them I'm in
We are back. Sorry about that. I was tapping into the birthday boy. The birthday boy on there. Hi, mommy.
Hello.
Happy birthday to you too.
Yeah, that's the word.
You the one that did the work.
Come on in where they can see you, boo.
It's good to see you. Love you.
Thank you.
Yes. So yesterday, welcome back, everybody. Remember, if you just joined us, this guy's birthday right here. Happy birthday, May 7th, 2025. Just survived his second
brain tumor.
Second, not one. His second brain tumor, and he's sitting up over here. We don't know how he's doing it, but God is good, and he's evidence of that. And so when you see the confirmations of God, for they will know you by your fruit. Okay. Exactly. And so we see the fruit in this young man still looking like a little young man. I'm not going to ask. With the birthday, you want to tell him? You
ask and I'm gonna give you. You know,
he said I'm going with the G-Check, ladies and gentlemen. So how young are you?
I don't hide it. You know what I mean?
How young are you then? Can you tell the people?
Today I'm 61. Still look good. You see that? Still look good.
Yes, not 60. But 61 with the blessings of God on his face. We don't know how he does it. It's that Butler Gang blood. It's
all day. Can't you see? Look at you, cuz. Look at you.
Listen. I'm not telling. No, I'm not telling.
Oh, you ain't got. You ain't got to tell.
I'm not telling.
Listen.
It's that good gene.
That's it. That's your age. The good genes. That's your age.
Absolutely. So last night was it last night? Was the Met Gala. Was it last night?
No, the day before.
The Met Gala. So did you get an opportunity to see some of the looks? It was based on Black style, and they showed up. I mean, I thought, well, okay, dapper dandy, super fine, and they put it on the Black this year, and it was a little costume-ish, but what did you think?
Well, listen, I'm going to say this, you know what I mean? Shout out to my man, and I know him very well, Dapper Dan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I used to definitely go in his store when I was a kid out here running like Roger the Rabbit and the Little Rascals, you know. But me personally, I can't see back in the days, you know, real black men wearing all that stuff, you know what I mean? I can't co-sign that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a real G check, you know, you know, the outfit that had on, yeah, you know, he gonna represent Harlem. He gonna
He had
represent,
the suit on.
yeah,
That
but
was what he was representing. Usher and his wife looked very nice.
yeah,
I thought a couple people hit it. I loved Kim Kardashian's look.
yeah.
Andre 3000 had the piano on his back. I'm not sure where he was going with that look. We need to talk to him. We need to pull him over. We need
Yeah,
to.
yeah, we need to do a fashion G check.
Al
Ooh,
Sharpton was in the
ooh.
building with his, whatever. I thought, Tiana Taylor, she showed up in fine fashion, but who
What
stole
Al
the
Sharpton
show?
had on? What he had
Huh?
on? What he had on?
Who?
Al Sharpton.
He had on some ruffles and we gotta check his G. Wasn't
Oh, what he was looking like he was looking like a skeleton
it?
bobblehead.
Well, I ain't gonna say
You
nothing,
ain't got
but
to say. I need to
I'm
see
gonna
it.
show you, like I'm gonna show the people
Yeah, yeah.
exactly what's
Please
going
do,
on.
please do, because I need to see that.
Yeah. And then you also had so you had who else? Who else was a little weird? Like I said, Kim Kardashian looked nice. The Kardashian sisters looked
Yeah.
nice. Uh,
ASAP Rocky's looking good.
ASAP Rocky looked decent.
Yeah.
Rihanna
Rihanna.
expecting another baby.
Yeah,
The
you know
word on
she.
the street with Rihanna is everybody is saying, well, look, Rihanna, this is her third baby and she's not married, but she's a billionaire. If she marries him, he gets all the money. So I don't think that she's worried about, him tying the knot so much as he's probably, let's get married, let's get married, let's get married. Because right now he can leave and she doesn't have to come up with anything. What do you think about that? Should Rihanna?
Nah, a G check is, listen, just like the women do, they put a baby in a man, he put a baby in a woman. He gonna get alimony. It don't matter, but see, you gotta remember, it ain't always the marriage part. You know what I mean? Because let's be clear with this. At the end of the day, they married. They live with each other. They sleeping with each other. So they marry. You know, they ain't always take a piece of paper to say what you are. You know, but
Well, legalities put the money in it, right? When you're married and you go ahead and sign that piece of paper, that means you're more serious, I would assume, than
well,
somebody not willing to sign the paper.
well, it's like this. You know, he had his money. She had her money before they got together. She just got a little more down the line and he just billing it. So at the end of the day, they're billing together. You know, we got to look at it. It ain't always about the money, it's the love. Because guess what? You look, see what's going on. They just claimed our man just he's 85 years, what is 85? Smokey Robinson. And now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
somebody
That's an
said,
official G check because I couldn't understand what are you doing. So I mean, I guess everybody is in the space right now where they're saying, listen, this man is about to hit the deck. He put his hands on me 38 years ago or something like that.
yeah,
And I'm feeling some type of way. It's bothering me. Let me go ahead and get my money, man. And they don't care because Smokey, we just saw him at the concert about to fall over. And then now, people are really vindictive and really looking for,
a check.
payday. Yeah.
They looking for a P. Diddy check.
A real payday with it. So before we leave off the Met Gala, you had Angel Reese, you had Megan Thee Stallion, but who stole the show?
Please tell me.
Diana Ross. Okay. Diana showed up. Lady sings the blues. She had the 80-foot train. She looked
She definitely.
marvelous.
Oh
She's
yeah, she definitely
81,
did. Yeah, she definitely did.
81 years old, and she looked marvelous. She show stopped everybody. nobody could do anything. She had the all white on. On her train was all of her kids and grandkids' names inscribed in it. She said her son brought her out and lady sung the blues. Okay.
Yo, she did. She always do that when she came to New York.
Uh-huh.
And when she had a show in Central Park, and she was like, you know, New York, I love y'all. You know what I mean? Next thing you know, it started pouring down rain. So, you know, she always, when she come to New York, she reps.
She brings it.
Whenever she come, the rain coming.
It
came the other day.
The rain, the pain, and that is a
G
G check.
check.
You don't have to check her G. She showed up and she says, oh, well, I just was doing a little bit. You know, my son told me to come. And she show stopped. Okay, so make sure you check into that. And let's see what else. So we've got Trump is also putting 100% tariffs on movies made outside of the United States. And so he is saying, listen, if you make a movie outside the United States to get it in here, my man, you're going to have to pay 100% tariff on that. And so, you know, he is going for big business and big money to circle around America and get this dollar moving in America. If it's not moving nowhere else, it's going to move in America. Okay, we going to get something done.
G-check in America.
Yeah, G-check in America. He's doing it. And so now here's another thing, cousin. Trump is talking about reopening Alcatraz. Okay, so Alcatraz is outside of San Francisco. And it's, you know, an island. Al Capone was on there, Machine Gun Kelly, some really, you know, heavy hitters. When we talk about the history, I believe it closed in 1963, I want to say. And so now Trump is saying, look, we need some place to house these prisoners that we taking in. I'm thinking about opening up Alcatraz. But hold on, before you G-check this, let me tell you that Alcatraz is a landmark. So it needs a lot of work. And so to put people back in there, they're going to have big problems, and it'll be years long before they will be able to get this just the okay to do the work. So, but what say you of Trump just looking to, you know, open up jails and open up more prisons in America?
Let me say this, a G-check on this, right? They rather put people in jail, the bad people, as they say, rather than put them in a college and educate them and let them get this is how I look at it. It's like you got a choice. You could go to jail, go back and get your education and your degree and this and that, because at the end of the day, you want to say, now you want to send people to jail. But you got to remember this, Trump. You never been to jail. But my buddy, you got 34 felonies. You get where I'm coming from? So they was coming at your head to put you in jail where you get a taste of it. Then when you get a taste of it, you wouldn't be talking about that. But you got to remember this, jail is nothing but a big business. A business of slavery. You get where I'm coming from? They put us in jail where we could be slaves because you build it, you spending billions of dollars to fix that place up. But you got homeless people that fought for this country and they can't even get a home. And to all these comrades, the mayors and all them, y'all want to run the prices up, living, taxes. You know what I mean? They want to close my school down from elementary. It's a landmark. How you want to close Nathan Hale? And you, first of all, you change the name, and then now you want to close it. And this is a school where top names that did something in life went to that school. It's a landmark. You had Gus and Ray Williams. You had J.B. Smoove. You had me. You had so many classic people that went to that school. How you gonna change that name? You can't close that school in Mount Vernon. But it's like you got dudes. It's nothing to do for the community, for the kids out there in Mount Vernon. They just shooting, killing every day. But you want to close a school down where you could put programs in there and change these kids' lives and give them something. You know what I mean? Because how can we, as a community, where we say when it's time for election, voting to get in there, you put your tap dance shoes on, what you gonna do for the community. But as soon as you get in the office and y'all got your Gucci bags, you got your Louis bags, you got your Coach bags, and y'all just open them bags up and the money fall and y'all forget about what y'all say y'all gonna do for the communities. So we got to figure out a way when people really come and say what they're going to do, we need to hold them accountable. You know what I mean? And when I say that, it ain't just that we protest. We got to start when they come around, what they get the people to sign for to be the mayor, the governor. And we need to have paper to say, you don't do this, you don't do that, because you said you're going to do this, you're going to do that. If you don't do this, you sign this, you got to do 30 years in prison. If you don't do this when you get in office, we come in to put you in jail. And that's what we need to do, because every time people come in office, they promise you a rainbow. And you don't get no gold, they change everything. And then you look at it this way, most of the people that get in office or whatever, they don't live in the city where, and they put all these bills in, it don't affect them. Because they got the government car, they got the, you know what I mean? They not getting no tickets.
So we got to take a break really quick. And when we come back, we're going to talk about what is happening in the government, what is going on with Medicaid, what is going on with the budget cuts, what is going on with all of this on Congress and beyond. And we will be right back with the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. I'm your host, Jania Butler. This is my host, AB Butler with the G-Check, and we're G-checking everything. So we'll be right back. And we are back. And we are back to again talk about what is happening in the United States. And, you know, AB is 100% right. If you're just tuning in, he was just talking about how people get into office. Now, AB is going harsh, okay? He's giving them a real G-check. He's saying, listen, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, then you're going to prison. I like it. Okay, you know, we haven't even gotten the term limits yet, but AB said if you don't do what you go out here and promise the people to do, you're getting locked up, buddy. And I like it. Okay,
because they quick to lock us up.
Let's talk about what's happening with the government right now. They're trying to do Medicaid cuts. Now, here's a good question for you here, cousin. Is they're trying to do Medicaid cuts now? The Republicans are saying, listen, we want to cut the Medicaid so illegal migrants are not getting Medicaid, right? These illegal immigrants are getting Medicaid in all kinds of towns, and we're paying for it. We don't want to pay for that again. So we want to cut the Medicaid. The Democrats are saying, you can't cut the Medicaid because it will hurt this will be the biggest Medicaid cut in history, and it will hurt these communities that they serve. So where do we lie? Do we go on and say, okay, yeah, we're going to go ahead and fund these migrants and, you know, and fund their, you know, health and, you know, fund them getting babies and they should have all of the same care as us? Or do we say, cut them out? where we going them. Now let's talk about this G-check.
This is a G-check, right? They say cut it out for the migraines. Why? Let me ask you a question. Why they get more privilege than they get more than we get? So at the end of the day, if they really cut it out, they really gonna cut it out for us, the brown.
That's what the Democrats are saying.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what it is. But when you say the Democrats is saying what they saying, and the Republicans they saying what they saying, it's like, okay. Once again, like I say, you got to have it in writing and let the people really see what's the breakdown. See, these days, it's like, if you're not shopped on words and don't understand the words, you know what I mean? Words mean a lot, and sometimes it don't mean nothing. But you got to understand, there's a lot of slickness going on because they passing a lot of bills on a lot of things that we don't know nothing about, and we can't control, because you got all these people in there that we put in office. They really not saying what's in them bills, what's in the trick bill. You know what I mean? I call a trick bill.
Now we got trick bills. We got the trick bag.
Yeah, they got they got the trick bills because they might say, okay, this is what's in the bill, this is what's in the bill, this is what's in the bill. We need the bill signed. So once the bill signed, they put the trick papers in there now.
Right.
You get where I'm coming from? So it's like,
they're like 1,000, you know, they're really thick, these bills. So everything that's in there. So there's definitely some fine print, and we'll go with the trick bill on that. There's definitely some fine print in there. Yeah. They'll give up this to get this and to all that kind of stuff. And
just like great example, just like the what's the price downtown? You got to pay to get in. They made enough money and they still want to keep it on. They just still want to rob us.
Congestion pricing, yes.
Yeah, they still want to rob us. You know what I mean?
$59 million in the first quarter of the congestion pricing of what they've racked in, and they still want more money from the people and don't think that they're hurting the people at all.
But okay, let's get down to this, right? Congestion pricing. You get all this money. Let me say this, and I'm being real on this. Y'all taking all this money, and me and you, cuz we really need to do a G-check on the streets of congestion pricing and go into all these cities and these streets in New York City where the streets is toe up, the subway is toe up.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The trains is toe up, under the bridge is toe up, everything. So at the end of the day, you ask for all this money and keep asking for all this money. Like I say, once again, you look nice on TV with your Gucci bag, with your assistant holding your bag. When you take that government shirt off, get in your car, you look nice at that house you got there. And it's like, yo, real talk, you know, y'all look good, but the people out here y'all keep taxing looking bad. Y'all want to raise the rent up. And I understand that you saying the people that own these buildings, yeah, they get a lot of money from the city. And the city should be able to fix it, because at the end of the day, these buildings is built in the city. So all this money they fixing up, they saying they fixing up, they need to fix up these buildings. You get where I'm coming? Because they paying taxes on these buildings. You know, get where I'm coming from? So where's all this money going? We not getting a breakdown. We not, they rather, the government rather come at us and check, you know, the small people and do an audit on them. But we really need we really need to break down or audit on all this money for the last 30, 40 years and say, where did all this money go? You got lottery, you got the train, you got the tickets, you got the tolls, you got the game on these polls where they like, okay, they might just say, let's put, like, even on the city, they trick the what's the signs? They put the
Mhm.
trick on
The
them.
parking.
Yeah, the parking, they put the trick on them. You know what I mean? One thing say this, one thing say that. It's like, come on, it's a lot of game. And that's why I say the words is game. You got to recognize the game. So we need to hell them, let's hold them accountable and get, like, they come around and pass that paper out. We need the people out here need to have a form and state that if y'all don't do what y'all say y'all gonna do when y'all get in office, we gonna burn y'all. Y'all need to go to jail, just like y'all quick to put us in jail. That's the new G check. And
That's
I
the new G
guarantee
check.
that's yeah. Mm, yeah,
Well,
cuz.
I'm with it because you're right. In so many ways, they're not taking care of the things that they're saying they're taking care of, but we are paying our fair share. And like I always say, New Americans, is America has to stop eating its people. It's got to let us live. Now, I think that we're in Trump country now, and we might be able to get something done, but we've got to keep this stuff on the forefront. So over here on the G check, you're going to jail if you don't do what you say you're going
Clang,
to do.
clang.
We going to lobby for you to go to jail. Not so much as just getting out of office. We going to lobby for you to go to jail. So now let's tap into some New York stuff. Go New York, go New York, go. Okay, New York Knicks are now in the second round of the playoffs. Here you
Yes.
go with it. Here you go with it. New York Knicks in their second round of the playoffs. They are playing Boston. They got their first win on the road, getting New York all hype and excited. Game 2, I believe, this evening in Boston. So they've got a good feat. When New York Knicks are up, the city is up, everything is vibrant. What do you think? And we got Knicks in 7, and we got Knicks in 5. I know you are a Knicks fan.
Okay, let me say this to the Knicks. New York Knicks. Fat Joe. Spike Lee. Tracy Morgan. We need to sit down with the Knicks and say this. This is a G check to the New York Knicks. Slow down. Stop being greedy. If you got a 2, you got the, you know what I mean? Yo, let's win. Let's play ball. Let's play and win. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when we get up, we get relaxed. We get comfortable. We got them. No, you don't got nobody to the 4th. If y'all beat them in 4, y'all got them. Then y'all go to the next round. Let's do that. Let's play ball. Not playing, you know what I mean? The 3s. Let me take this. If you don't feel it, take the 2. Big man, stay down low. You know what I mean? You got the body. You know what I mean? Especially when we up, it seemed like we get relaxed. And to the coach, put some of them young players in there. Let them get rest. Because at the end of the day, I say to the young ones that's on the bench sitting there watching, yo, when you get a chance to get in there, you got to play like you really want to be on a team where they can understand you is a champ because you sitting there. And I don't have excuses when we lose, but at the end of the day, everybody on that bench they were professional. So at the end of the day, when you get in there and shine and win, because that's the only way you're going to stay on that team. And that's because it's one thing about all New York teams. Every time we send a player that we got on the bench is sitting there and send them to another team, they become a star on the other team.
Oh, Well, we're about to close out. We got the birthday boy with his New York wish and making sure that New York is on point and shouting out Fat Joe. Rest in peace to your family. I don't know what happened to him, but we're tuning in. So my last thing as we close out, Stephen A. Now, how many times have I told you about Stephen A? Stephen A. got the love of the president, okay? And Stephen A., President Trump said, I would love to see Stephen run. He's an entertainer. There goes the birthday boy. So I'm just closing out, and we're talking about Stephen A. getting the love from President Trump on his love to run for president. Stephen A. is posing a whole bunch of nonsense going on, but he's got it going. And I can't hate on the brother. He's out here with a presidential 2028 potential presidential bid. Stephen A. is out here pulling that off. And, let's say to the birthday boy, happy birthday. What do you think about Stephen A.? And give us your last wish for your birthday this year.
Oh, Stephen A., man, listen, run. You know what I mean? That's all I can say, run. Because who else going to run? Really, the presidents and the way Congress is right now, they need young, fresh people that going to change. Because, like I say, it don't matter, young or old. It's just that we just need people in there going to keep their word. That's why I say we need to get that form and put on the form a G check. If you don't keep your word, you go straight to the penitentiary. It ain't no trial. It ain't nothing. You go straight to the penitentiary, not a camp. The penitentiary. You need to go to the penitentiary where you'll understand in there. They're going to show you being a man of your word.
Okay, we're gonna take it now. Let's get your wish. Happy birthday wish for this year. What is it, birthday boy?
My birthday wish is let me hit the Powerball, let me hit the Mega, where I ain't got to depend on nobody acting like they my friend. They not, you know what I mean? So that's my wish, and the key thing, the big wish. Let me correct this first. Let me back that up. The wish is thank God for another year, be able to breathe, see, walk, hear, and appreciate the air, and appreciate my mother and God.
Yeah.
Give upon my father, rest in peace.
Yes.
To everybody we lost, you know what I mean? Because we still here as a face for them.
That's right.
You get where I'm coming from?
That's right.
They might be gone, but we a face for them. They still with us. My cousin Chris, my father, my sister, my uncle,
Absolutely.
My cousins, everybody we lost is still here with us. We just don't see them. But if you go to sleep sometime, you'll feel them.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So listen, this is what I say. I wish that, this is another wish I could. I wish as a Black community, we could open our eyes and work together and stop being so selfish. It don't matter what we go through, what the media, what the world show us, but we still hate on one another. I wish we could do the right thing.
And that is our G check for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Send those birthday wishes in. Get in the comments. Check us out. We'll be back.
Run the numbers up. Run the numbers up.
Yes, run those numbers up.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week here on Millennium News 24. This is the New American Perspective. I'm your host, Jania Butler, and that's my co-host, A.B. Butler. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
Love you, cuz.
Love you too.